February 14th, fast approaching, romantic horror fans across the universe are dusting off their VHS players and getting their candy hearts ready for 1981's Canadian classic My Bloody Valentine. Canadian director George Mihawka and writer John Beard were trying to capitalize on the holiday hoopla of the late 70s and early 80s horror like Halloween and Black Christmas. These movies were making money at the box office, and after Friday the 13th hit theaters and Jason fucking killed everybody, they were willing and ready to put everything on the line for this film. My Bloody Valentine was an early example of Connexploitation, which was something created by the Canadian government. There was a tax break that allowed it to be easier for Canadian filmmakers to make movies. Thanks to Connexploitation, there were a lot more Canadian horror films being made than ever, as long as they included Canadian actors and crew. Our tale begins 2 days before Valentine's Day, when a bunch of young coal miners are getting done work. They're in the shower trying not to look at each other's dicks, I guess, and they're getting ready, talking about how they're going to fuck all the girls at the Valentine's Day party, or whatever they're trying to do. Now, they're excited, and I get it. You know, you're going to a party, you're going to do some drugs, smoke some joints, you know, maybe drink a little bit, fuck a little bit, whatever. And, what pisses me off here, though, is they're speeding around the town of Valentine's Bluff, which is the real town of Sydney, Nova Scotia. Slow down, man. You're going to kill somebody. Meanwhile, back in town, the ladies are getting all ready for the Valentine's Day dance. And Mayor Hannigan, the mayor of the town, doesn't seem too pleased about the dance. So Mayor Fuckface goes into the hall and it pisses off his son TJ, who recently returned back to town after his hiatus blowing fucking sea otters or some shit. But TJ's all pissed off because his ex-girlfriend Sarah has been hooking up with his friend Axel, twiddling his Twinkie. And on the way out, we see the sheriff come in. The sheriff is played by actor Don Franks, who played the voice of Boba Fett in the shitty-ass Star Wars Holiday Special.
It'll be easy to find the ship you seek. Follow me, friend.
On the way out, someone hands Papa Fuckface a heart-shaped box with a note on it. And the note basically says, don't have the dance or you're all gonna fucking die. And meanwhile, back in town at the bar called The Cage, which sounds like a strip club in Texas, an old bartender is warning everybody not to have the dance. And Captain Kangaroo seems to agree with him. So the bartender starts flashing back and spinning a tale about how great the Valentine's Day dances were back then. How they had booze and edibles and strippers and donkeys and bestialities and all kinds of crazy fucking shit went on. But that night, there were some miners working the night shift. And the supervisors weren't even paying attention. They were such in a rush to go finger fucking donkey, they never checked the methane levels in the mine. And they left without telling anybody. And the mine blew the fuck up. One fun fact is, the film was shot in real working coal mines, located in Sydney Mines, Nova Scotia. And the owners of the mines cleaned it all up, wanted it to look nice. But when the directors and producers got there, they had to dirty it all up again. Anyway, back to the story. The supervisors were partying, and all the other miners were looking for survivors. After hours of searching through endless rubble, the miners couldn't find anybody alive. But one man, Harry Warden. Warden was crazier than a shithouse rat when they found him. He was feeding off the other miners, eating them like fried chicken. Finger licking good, man. After they send Harry off in a straitjacket to the loony bin, he escapes a couple days later, looking for revenge on the supervisors that were working that night. Using a giant fucking pickaxe, Harry kills all the supervisors, rips their hearts out and sticks them in heart-shaped candy boxes, and gives them to their wives for Valentine's Day. Then he vowed if there was ever another Valentine's Day dance, he would kill everybody in Valentine's Bluff. Nobody is taking the old man's story seriously, and they continue to drink and party. But there's a lot of tension in the room because TJ and his ex-girlfriend Sarah are fighting because Sarah let his best friend Axel do the horizontal shuffle with her. Meanwhile, across town, somebody is stalking Old Lady Laundromat. She's all excited about the dance later. Maybe she thinks she's going to get finger fucked behind a punch bowl by Captain Kangaroo. More things you should know about the film is the director had to trim 9 minutes of all the gory and graphic footage from the film in order to avoid an X rating. Oh, look, a case of Moosehead beer. You know that Moosehead beer is made in Nova Scotia, Canada? What a fucking surprise! So the killer, or whoever it is, could be Harry, who the fuck knows, leaves a candy box for old lady laundromat. I wonder what's gonna happen when she picks that fucking box the fuck up. Here she comes through the curtain like a whore on payday, and she's all excited about the candy box she sees on the table. I wonder who it's from. Could it be from the sheriff? I don't know. I wonder what the note's gonna say. Roses are red, violets are blue. I got a double-sided dildo for you. Ha ha! Whatever that note says, it surprises the shit out of old lady laundromat. Probably shit herself. Good thing she's got adult diapers. Now, what a surprise. It's our friend in the coal miner's mask again. And he's probably wielding that big-ass pickaxe of his. I feel sorry for old lady laundromat. I think she's going to get her clothes folded real good this time. He really scares the shit out of her because she stumbles and falls and tries to make her way out the back door. But he grabs her by her wig and pulls her back. Poor Mabel, old lady laundromat. All she really wanted to do was go to that dance. So far, this movie ain't so bad. You can see why, over the years, My Bloody Valentine has gained a dedicated cult following who appreciate the unique fucking blend of horror and suspense. Looky here, it's Mayor Boba Fett. He must have came to tell Mabel that the Valentine's Day dance is canceled because him and Mayor Dipshit got somebody's severed fucking heart in a candy box. Did you know during its original release, My Bloody Valentine was filmed in 3D? Adding an extra layer of death and terrifying scenes. As the sheriff continues to look for Mabel, he smells something not quite right. Must be something not so downy fresh. And all of a sudden, he finds Mabel's body. She pops out of one of the dryers. She's been spinning in it the whole time. Bring around the rosies, pocket full of posies. Round and round she goes, where she stops, nobody knows. No whammy, no whammy, stop! After that night, the coal miner boys are having a junkyard party, and TJ and Axel are still fighting over the fact that Axel slipped TJ's ex-girlfriend, the hot beef and Jackson. TJ's all pissed off and says just cause he left doesn't make her free squirrel meat. Tough shit, man, you shouldn't have left town to join the butthole circus. Later on in the morning, Sarah's talking to her friend about how she can't really decide on what dick she wants to jerk off. Meanwhile, Sheriff Boba Fett and Mayor Dipshit are trying to figure out if Harry Warden is still locked up, and nobody knows where he is. Mayor Fuckface seems to think that Harry Warden's escaped again. The sheriff tells the girls that the dance has been canceled because they found Mabel stuffed in a dryer like a fabric softener ball. So now they gotta find a new place to have the party. And they're all trying to figure out how TJ suggested they go to the old mine and have the party. And everybody seems that's a great idea, except for Happy the bartender, who warns them again. And TJ goes, well, you go and fuck yourself, old man. No one wants to hear your shit. Later that night, Happy goes to the coal mine, gets all drunk, and tries to set up some sort of trick for the kids to scare the shit out of them. And he plays peekaboo with himself for about 10 minutes. Then on Happy's last peekaboo, he gets a pickaxe through the bottom of his chin and his eyeball pops out. A lot of people don't know that My Bloody Valentine was heavily censored upon release due to its graphic violence and gore. My Bloody Valentine faced significant censorship and cuts before its release. Meanwhile, the party's in full swing. People are drinking and juggling and smoking crack and shit. And this random dude, Dave, decides he's going to go into the kitchen and get himself a hot dog. Well, Mr. Coal Miner says, hell no, Dave. You're going to get an Oscar Mayer bukkake party instead. And he sticks his face in 100,000 degree water and his skin melts off. This is one of those edited scenes I was talking about. I edited it in for you because I like you guys. Meanwhile, back in town, the sheriff notices some dogs chewing away in a candy heart leaking blood, and there's a note there that says, don't have the party or else. And the sheriff's like, what fucking party? Meanwhile, back at the party, this guy's snorting soda because they must have ran out of hard drugs, and Axel and TJ are still fighting over the girl. And she's like, you know what, I'm the shit, and I can jerk off whoever I want, and you guys are assholes. Of course, after a girl gets involved, there's going to be a fucking brawl. And of course there is a brawl. And they're fighting and punch each other, and big old Hollis comes in and breaks it up. A big old Hollis looks like fucking Arn Anderson from the Four Horsemen. Did you know that My Bloody Valentine made $5 million in the U.S. box office? but it was still considered a disappointment by Paramount Pictures because it only had a return of $3 million. Meanwhile, these two are making out, and the guy goes to get some beer, and as he's getting it, he doesn't even notice Dave's head in the refrigerator. And these two girls find some sort of body part or organ in there, and they don't even seem to think it's weird or anything. Anyway, meanwhile, the girl's back in wherever that is, like the locker room or something, and all the jackets and masks start falling from the sky, and she starts freaking out. Why is that scary, man? As she's running around screaming, Happy's body pops out. It scares the shit out of her. And anyway, Mr. Miner shows up and grabs her by her head and starts dragging her into the showers. Coming up in a few seconds here, you're going to see one of those censored scenes I was talking about. Back in the day, the MPAA demanded that every death sequence be cut from the film, and the film's gore be removed from pre-credit sequences. That's some bullshit, man. But I guess they had to do it because of the R rating system. So the killer hangs her up like some teenage bimbo waterspout and turns her on. Meanwhile, this guy comes back looking for some shower fuck session and finds his girlfriend hanging there spewing water out of her mouth. This guy's so upset he just grabs his head. He doesn't even scream or nothing. I'd be fucking running around like a nut. Anyway, back at the party, Patty thinks it'd be a good idea to go down in the mines. So they all think it's a good idea to go down in the mines, except for TJ. He's like, man, I don't think it's a good idea to go down there. And they're all like, oh, we'll be right back, man. Nothing gonna happen. So they go in there, and Howell's got beer and blankets, and he's like their fucking Jungle Cruise fucking captain or some shit. And they're all gonna go down there and probably have sex. And I wonder how many of them is gonna come back, right? Who knows? So they're all riding down there, man, and they get down there and they're all going to break off and have sex with each other, because that's always a good idea in a horror movie, right? Anyway, meanwhile, back at the fucking party, this guy comes running in saying, my girl's a fucking human waterspout, man. They all freak out. And Axel says, hey, man, we got to get out of here. Everybody get the fuck out of here. We're going to go get the sheriff. And they try to call the sheriff. Of course, the phone doesn't work because the phone never works in a fucking horror movie, man. And they go speeding off. And Axel and TJ make a pact that they're going to go down there and save Hollis. Meanwhile, the fucking killer is down there, and he's fucking breaking light bulbs. And they're like, what the fuck is that noise, man? Well, don't you know that this guy doesn't like light, man? He's probably a vampire or some shit. Anyway, TJ says, all right, well, somebody's dead. Howells freaks out and says, oh my God, there's other people in here. I'm going to have to go save them. Because Big Howells has got to save everybody, man. So Howells goes down there and he sees the two idiots that were fucking dead. And he's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? They have my Twinkies in their trunk, man. Anyway, he finds out that they're dead and he's going to run back and tell TJ, let's get the fuck out of here. But meanwhile, he gets shot in the fucking skull by a fucking nail gun, man. A nail gun. It's our friend in the coal miner's mask again. And he just gets weapons from everywhere, man. He's such a creative killer. A pickaxe, fucking nail guns, man. Using fucking people's heads as water spouts. This guy is fucking great, man. He's got a lot of fucking imaginatory things going on. You know what I mean? And Hollis takes about 5 or 6 nails to the head, man. So Hollis is standing there like a human pincushion, waddling back and forth. And I can't figure out why the guy doesn't even drop dead, man. I guess the nail doesn't penetrate the brain. I don't fucking know. Anyway, the killer is back, and he is stalking the other people that are involved down here. And Sarah's like, please, we don't want any trouble. And Howell's fucking dead. She finds Howell's is dead. Howell's is her boyfriend, so she freaks out. Here comes Axel to save the day. Axel to save the day. Anyway, here comes the guys. They're telling the sheriff, like, look, there's some fucking killer down there in the coal mines. The sheriff goes down in the coal mines and fucking the elevator doesn't work right away. So I don't know how he gonna get the fuck down there. Oh, look, the elevator is broke. Why is it broke? Because the fucking goddamn killer did it, man. After putting their fucking heads together, they decide they're gonna climb up the ladder to get out. But a dead body falls down. And they decide to scrap that fucking idea, because who knows, the killer could be up there, man. And I wouldn't go either. So TJ suggests there's gotta be another way. And Axel says, I think I know another way. So they fucking trust Axel. And while they're driving, they hear some kind of a smash. And they see that Axel has fallen to his death. Now TJ is determined to get the girls out alive. So he's going to have to break off and find another way out. And they take another fucking tunnel in the fork in the tunnel road, or wherever the fuck you want to say. And, you know, they're scared as fuck. You know, they're hearing noises and shit. And there's frogs and fucking all kinds of fucking bats down there and all kinds of fucking weird fucking ooey smells. Who fuck knows, man? And they all kind of, you know, there's a fucking killer on the loose. They should be fucking scared. And Axel's running around fucking jerking off or doing whatever the fuck he's doing. And all of a sudden, there's the fucking killer, Mr. Miner. And he fucking drives her right in the fucking stomach with the fucking pickaxe. And it's a real slow, painful death. This is another one of those edited scenes I talked about. They thought it was too gory and too fucking realistic for the crowd. But fuck you, man. We are fucking horror fans and we can take that shit. Stop editing shit out and we can take. So out of nowhere, TJ shows up and scares the shit out of Sarah. And so does Mr. Miner. So there's this Thomas the Train Killer chase scene where the killer is chasing him on top of the train car. Meanwhile, the mayor and the fucking sheriff show up with a fucking Harry Warden lynch mob, and they're gonna go try to fucking kill the killer, right? And TJ is fighting for his life, man. And Sarah's just fucking wielding a shovel, and she gets shoved into the wall. Sarah's really not doing anything right now. I don't know. You know, and fucking TJ throws a fucking brick at them. They start fighting underneath the fucking ground, and the fucking tunnel is starting to cave in, man. And, you know, fucking Sarah's starting to freak out. He's got a knife, and all of a sudden, she fucking rips his mask off, and it's revealed that it is Axel. Axel was actually one of the kids of the supervisors that was killed. He was hiding underneath the bed as his dad was pickaxing the fucking heart, man. In the fucking heart on fucking Valentine's Day. TJ drop kicks him and the mine starts caving in, and Sarah and TJ make it out okay as the lynch mob arrives. He tells his dad it wasn't Harry Warden, it was Axel. Somebody yells from the back room saying he's still alive, and Sarah comes running in and it's Axel. And she grabs his hand and he grabs her hand as he's sawing off his own arm. That's gross. She pulls just his arm out, setting up some sort of a sequel. There was never a sequel to My Bloody Valentine, but there was a remake in 2009. I seen it, was pretty good. Go check it out. Now, this movie is a fucking cult classic, man. A lot of people like this movie, and it stays in the hearts of many as one of the greatest horror movies ever fucking made. This is Doc BullFrog, signing.